JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain event.
Guess what time it is? My time. You can check your iPhone. Better say it's our time.
With your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 pounds and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. And today is Friday, folks. 3 minutes past the top of the hour. Ben McKee, Jason Swain here. At Swain Event, at Ben McKee14 is how you can follow us on Twitter. Ben, man, has anyone told you that you're just a handsome fella? You're just a handsome fella. Well, last time someone told you that, man.
I guess just now, unless you were lying to me.
No, man, I'm not lying. You're a handsome fella, man. Look at you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You are too.
Handsome guy, right there in the Swain Event TV, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube. Look at that, y'all. Look at that handsome guy with that shaved head, that bald head. That's what I'm talking about. Jurgen Pruitt would be proud of you. Will Friend would be proud of you. Joe Osovet would be proud of you. Am I missing anybody else? I feel like we lost. We lost Kevin Shera, who was bald,
and Chris Rump.
Chris Rump. Tracy Rocker would not be proud of you at all. He has beautiful hair. I mean,
he does.
I mean, I am convinced he's using juices and berries.
He's using the same thing that C-Mac is using.
Man, he has hair appointments.
Yes.
We just go get our hair cut. Well, you go get your hair cut. I just go to the bathroom, lay down a towel, and I'm done in like 3.5 minutes, maybe even 4.
I'm almost at that point too. But Tracy Rocker and C-Mac, they schedule appointments at the salon. They don't even go to the barbershop. They go to the salon.
That's right. No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it.
I'm jealous. I'm not hating when I say that. I'm jealous. I wish I could do the same thing. I wish I could have dreadlocks, but I can't.
Ben, I need a friend this morning.
Well, you've got a friend in me.
I need a friend, man.
Do you know what movie that's from?
I think I've heard it. I heard the quote before, but
Toy Story, Swaino. Toy Story. My favorite cluster of movies growing up when I was a kid.
That's cute, man. I'm sorry, I don't remember all the things from Toy Story. I just remember Woody, the cowboy.
Well, that's one of the things from Toy Story.
I just remember how gangster he was. That's all. But, I mean, I need a friend this morning, Ben.
I got you. What's up?
Of all places. If all places, why did JT Daniels decide to go to Atlanta and attend the University of Georgia? Of all places.
This came out of nowhere.
Of all places. Three, two, one. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? JT Daniels going to Georgia. That's what's bothering me. All right. So, the former 5-star quarterback from USC, initially we heard like, Tennessee, LSU, these would be the quarterbacks that would, be in it for JT Daniels in the SEC. And then boom, yesterday he announced after it was leaked that he would go to Georgia. And I started asking questions. Well, why did he just pass over Tennessee? I mean, Tennessee is closer to California and Georgia, and I'm not going to sit here and say like Tennessee didn't want him, but Tennessee preferred not to, continue to pursue him because of the extra things of sometimes dealing with the quarterback and what comes with that. I'll let y'all put 2 and 2 together. You got to deal with parents and stuff. So I don't think that's not the entire reason. He's still a good player. He's very talented. I wanted him here, not because I didn't think that we had enough talent, but I wanted him here because I want the room to be packed full. And I said this on 3-Hour Lunch yesterday with Don and Brent, is that I want to be like Ohio State. I want to be like Ohio State, who loses a transfer quarterback while that quarterback that wins the job goes to the NFL. The quarterback that transfers, he goes to another school, and he is successful too. In this case, Joe Burrow went to LSU, won a championship, was a Heisman Trophy winner, and then it wound up being the first overall pick. It's like a win-win. It's a win-win because Ohio State could have won a championship. Probably wouldn't have won it with Joe Burrow at that time if Joe Burrow won that job there at Ohio State. You look at Georgia a couple years ago when Justin Fields went there and they had Jake Fromm. Justin Fields transferred, and he was successful at Ohio State, and Jake Fromm was successful for that year and a half or so. Jake Fromm was successful. He won games, so I'm just kidding. But, I want to be that school that, just gobbles up all the quarterbacks. I know only one can play at once, and so if it doesn't work out, transfer, you go somewhere else, and you have success. We do have talent. We just don't know who is going to be the guy. And when you are talking about recruiting, and when you miss out on a player, it doesn't mean if you are, a little upset about it or you're a little disappointed about it, it doesn't mean that you don't have confidence in your players. It's just a double whammy. Here's what I was mentioning on 3-Hour Lunch yesterday. Here's what I mean, Ben. In 2012, Jay Graham was the running back coach here at Tennessee with Derek Dooley. I remember this day like it was yesterday. A really, really good friend of mine who I grew up playing AAU basketball against, his name is Jay Miller from Selma, Alabama. He was in the same class as me, 2003. He was ranked just like myself and Jamarcus Russell and Aaron Sears from the 2003 class from the state of Alabama. Well, he played 3 different sports. He played basketball, football, and baseball in high school. And he got an offer to play football and basketball at Stanford. He was going to do that until he decided to go sign a Major League Baseball contract, and he never went to college. And so he had finished up his Major League career. He had played with the Orioles, the A's, the Royals during his stint there in the MLB. And so he had finished up, and the first person he called about pursuing his athletic career was me. He was like, yo, I want to play football. So I'm like, yo, you can be like Kelly Washington. You can be like Kelly Washington, man. Who else did you talk to? Because I was making sure that this secret stayed with me first. I didn't want any other school to kind of get on him first. So at the time, I knew some people at the recruiting office at Tennessee. We had some guys that Dooley had on staff that was on staff when I was a player, when the coach former. So I reached out. I was like, yo, this dude's 6'4", 225 and wants to be a receiver. Let's get it. So he comes to Knoxville. He stays with me at our house. And it was the 2012 Florida game, Ben. All this excitement. College game day was here. I was like, yeah, man, this is going to be great. I'm giving my all for Tennessee. I'm still a good host. I'm still a good host on recruiting visits. So we go to the game. I'm sitting in the recruiting section, and I'm like, who is that in shape daddy right there? That dad is in shape. It wasn't a daddy, Ben. It was freaking Derrick Henry. He had on a tank top. It was hot as you know what. It was hotter than two rats playing around in the wool sock, if you get what I'm saying. It was hot, all right? And Derrick Henry had on just a straight tank top, some shorts. He was matching. He was clean now. But I thought it was someone's dad. No, it was Derrick Henry. And Jay Graham was recruiting the heck out of this young man. If you don't know this, Tennessee came in second place. He really loved Tennessee and Jay Graham. Really loved him. But not enough to come here. We were second. He went to Alabama. Here's the whammy. He didn't come here. The double whammy is, the second whammy is, guess what? Now we got to play against him for three or 4 years. That's the part that stinks. So I say all that to say this is the part that stinks about JT Daniels. I don't know how good he's going to be at Georgia. All I know is when you stockpile talent, you keep it away from your competitors, number one. Number two, you just give yourself a chance to not mess it up as easy. Now, Kirby Smart, he has not done the best job with really good quarterbacks so far, which I don't know why any highly rated quarterback would even want to go to Georgia right now, but whatever. Never mind, no. Anyways. But it's not like Kirby has had the best track record at the quarterback position. That is the one position that he has screwed the pooch on since he's been the head coach of Georgia. But that's why I need a friend this morning, Ben, because not only did he not come here, but he's going to a place that we have to play for the next 3 years. I think he has 3 more years left of eligibility, or 2.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
It'll be 2 to 3 years of having to face him, depending on how he plays and if he is able to maybe leave early for the NFL. But it came out of nowhere. I was surprised when I woke up from my nap yesterday afternoon and saw that he had committed to transfer to Georgia, because the buzz had been around LSU and Tennessee his entire, I guess if you want to call it, recruitment since he entered the transfer portal about a month and a half, 2 months ago. So I was surprised that he picked Georgia simply because it came out of nowhere. You heard zero buzz about Georgia until yesterday around noon, that there were some 247 people that were talking it up and talking about the buzz that was being generated, and then all of a sudden he tweets out that he's headed to Georgia. So that's what was surprising to me. But it's unfortunate. Not exactly the quarterback I want to play against the next 2 or 3 years. And who knows if he turns out to be as good as he was projected before he tore his ACL. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, based on recent history, he will be underutilized, he will be underdeveloped, and he won't reach his full potential.
Yeah, and we will see if Todd Monken, the new offensive coordinator, makes a difference.
Yeah.
He's been in the SEC as a passing game coordinator and a wide receivers coach before at LSU, and he was the OC of that Oklahoma State offense that had Justin Blackmon, a first-round receiver, Brandon Whedon, a first-round quarterback. So we'll see if that helps any. And if he isn't eligible this season, and next year is his first year, and he beats out Brock Vanderdrift, the 5-star quarterback, for the job, he will have a more experienced offense than what Georgia will have this year. Georgia's offense has talent this year, just very inexperienced. Theoretically, that offense will have taken a huge step forward by the time he's able to play anyways.
Yeah, 100%, man. We'll take our first break of the day here on the Swain event. It is Friday, best day of the week. Stay with us. Be right back.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Jason Swain here. If you're feeling tired and grumpy, it could be low T or something else like sleep apnea. Low T Center now provides an easy and convenient home sleep test shipped to your home in little as 2 days and receive a CPAP device in little as 4 days. It's never been faster or easier to get tested, and most health insurance is accepted. Now is a great time to take care of yourself while you're being quarantined without sports. To order your sleep test online, just go to lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. You pull over, step out of your car, and the next thing you know, you're being arrested for driving under the influence. Now what do? We all should be responsible. But remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza at 865-540-8300. The investigative teams at the Garza Law Firm know the justice system inside and out. They utilize cutting-edge technologies and investigative methods to prepare your specific case. Before you plead guilty to any criminal charges, call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza. Put his number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty. Say Garza. 865-540-8300. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
865-255-03 is our telephone number to the Swain event. If you want to call in and get in on the conversation, have any good questions, you are more than welcome to do that. One thing that just made Tennessee great there in the late 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, was the recruiting, right? The Jimmies and the Joes. You can be 1,000% comfortable with who you currently have. Still want more talent because you want to create competition, number one. Number two, you want to keep that really good player from your opponent. How many times has Tennessee been second or third for a recruit, but that recruit didn't go to USC or Oregon or Oklahoma or Clemson? That player went to a school that we have to play every single year. That's what I call the double whammies. I don't know if JT Daniels is going to be really good or not. I don't know. But when you have really good players, it makes it easier to figure it out if you're a coach. Mm-hmm. A really good player covers up your deficiencies as a coach. Ask Butch Jones about Josh Dobbs, how much stuff he covered up. Coach Fulmer is a Hall of Fame coach. But Coach Fulmer coached really good players. Some really good players during his time. So what kind of coach would Coach Fulmer would have been without half of the talent that was here at the University of Tennessee and the talent that he inherited, because Johnny Majors did a great job of recruiting too. So you got to have players, man. I'm sorry. Who gets credit for teaching CP to do the things that he do? Cordell Patterson. What coach is seriously out there going, yeah, man, I taught Cordell Patterson everything he knows. Man, shut up. Sit down somewhere.
Nobody, because you still can't run a route.
I mean, you can't teach that stuff that Cordell Patterson is able to do with a football. You just can't teach it. Who's sitting there going, yeah, man, if it wasn't for me, Jamal Lewis wouldn't have been 2,000-yard rusher in the NFL, wouldn't have been a first-round pick. No, Jamal Lewis is a freak. So it was a double whammy for Georgia, because Georgia lost Jamal Lewis and then had to play against Jamal Lewis. Those are the double whammy that I talk about in recruiting. And so I look at our quarterback situation, and I see the plan, Ben. I mean, you have been very vocal about the quarterbacks of the future, the high school quarterbacks that are in the 2022 class.
Yes, next year's class with Ty Simpson and Caden Martin and the young man we talked about last week, Sam. I'm forgetting his last name off the top of my head. Sam, was it Fulton? No, Sam Horn. Sam Horn, Braden Davis, the son of Anton Davis. There's plenty of options for next year's class.
Now, I haven't heard this. I'm just speculating here. But knowing Pruitt and knowing a transfer quarterback of JT Daniels' stature and what we know about what happened with Justin Fields going to Georgia, which was, it made no sense. Jake Fromm had lit the world on fire as a freshman. Why would you go to Georgia when Jake Fromm already made a previous five-star quarterback transfer in Jacob Eason? The freshman quarterback takes his team to a national championship. Why would Justin Fields go to Georgia? Well, it had to be a couple different reasons. I'll mention one. I'll let you guys figure out the other ones. He had to be guaranteed the job. He had to be. Had to been guaranteed a job or a great opportunity to take the job from Jake Fromm. Had to be. You think Justin Fields was like, yeah, I'm coming to Georgia. I'm prepared to sit behind Jake Fromm for 2 years before I get my chance. No. He had to been told, yeah, man, you can come in here and win this thing, man. And then something happened, and boom, he bolted. Knowing that about Kirby makes me understand why JT Daniels probably went to Georgia. And they already have a 5-star committed from Georgia. And then you have Jamie Newman, which it makes total sense why Georgia got JT Daniels. The NCAA, they're not allowing transfers this year to be eligible. So it's not like JT Daniels will be eligible to play this year anyways. So Newman is just going to be there for 1 year. He's a grad transfer. So it's not like there's a competition between Jamie Newman and JT Daniels. JT Daniels is more for next year and beyond.
It's more of a competition between JT Daniels and Brock Vandagriff, the 5-star quarterback that they are going to sign, assuming that he stays committed.
Yeah. So let's get to Tony in Kingsport. Tony, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday to you, my friend.
Hey, I was thinking about this when I heard the news last night, and there's a couple of things that is on my mind. First off, I understand he was good as a freshman and he got hurt, but Pac-10 and SEC, they're two little different animals in my book.
Yeah.
SEC has a whole lot bigger talent pool, and it's like a war zone every Saturday.
Correct.
So that's one thing. But mainly, he doesn't play defense, and Pruitt is stacking our defense. So if we have a quarterback that can match score for score, our defense is getting stacked. So we have to understand that maybe whatever he's doing, I mean, if he's doing well, fine. But what if our defense is doing even better? So what do you think about that?
I mean, I understand we have a defensive coach, and I think our defense will be really good. I don't have a doubt in my mind that Tennessee's defense will be good under Jeremy Pruitt, and that Tennessee will recruit at a high level as long as Pruitt is a head coach. What's unknown, though, is how is he going to handle the quarterback situation, because we have seen with other SEC teams that it doesn't matter how great your team is around the quarterback. If your quarterback is not good enough, you're not winning championship.
True.
You gotta have a quarterback. And remember, Tennessee had a chance to get Gardner Minshew that wound up going to Washington State, but instead we got Ben
Keller Christ.
So, that's kind of the position that we're like, all right, like we gotta hit on that one too. I don't not Pruitt for this one at all. I don't not Pruitt for why he stuck with JG the way that he did last year, because I totally get it. Like, he gave Tennessee the best chance to win. But when JG played poorly, he benched his butt, which is what I would have done too, and it made JG a better quarterback later on in the season. But that's going to be the telltale sign. I mean, think about, Dabo Swinney. Like, he won his first championship because he had Superman back there at quarterback. Like, he struck gold with Deshaun Watson. Ed Orgeron, I don't know how great of a head coach he is, but he won championship because he struck gold.
Great CEO.
Yeah, he struck gold with Joe Burrow. And so you can have a great defense, you can have this and that, but I'm telling you, man, if you don't have a quarterback, how are you going to win a championship? Look at the Final Four teams last year in the college football playoff. They were all experienced, baller quarterbacks. All of them. So we have to shore up that position too, and I think that might be the reason why Pruitt wins a championship and the reason why he didn't. Coach Fulmer is not the coach of Tennessee because of a decision he made with quarterbacks in the mid-2000s. It's true. Whether you like it or not, 2005, the quarterback battle was not handled properly. And then the quarterback play in 2008, along with the OC, along with other factors, but that's the reason why he wasn't a head coach in 2009. Quarterbacks will get you fired. Simple as that.
True. Very true. I just think that seeing how he's going to be sitting out this next year helps us.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get our guys up, get them developed, and what have you, and we may get a 5-star by his second year of actual playing time. You never know. So I just it's one of those things that, for me, it sucks he went to Georgia. It's sort of like when we play Florida, and every time they put a backup in, that's when we get beat. But that's the way I feel. But it's that's the cards dealt. We make do with what we got,
That's
and
right.
then we move on and push on.
That's right.
And I think you guys, y'all have a good day.
Thank you. And I don't want to sound like I don't like our quarterbacks that we've brought in and the quarterback that we have coming. So I'm talking about Jimmy Holiday, I'm talking about Harrison Bailey, and I'm talking about Caden Salter. But what do all three of those guys have in common? They haven't taken a snap yet. We don't know. There's a unknown there. Now, I don't know what JT Daniels will do at Georgia, but I know there's film of him doing pretty well at USC. And you can't just look at the stats. You got to look at everything going on. But he played pretty dang well as a freshman. And you look at the talent that he has. That's something that we see at the college level. Harrison is just an unknown. He's really, really good. I talked to someone that's been doing this business for a very long time as far as evaluating, recruiting, and he thinks Harrison is the best quarterback on campus today. That's him. I can't wait to see. I love Caden Salter. I love his game. He's mobile, and he has a big arm. And he can throw from multiple platforms. Some of the throws he makes, you're like, wait, what? And some of his throws remind me a little bit of Patrick Mahomes and Caden Salter. So I like what we have at quarterback as far as our young folks. But again, I just want to tell them competition. Ben, you sent me some good nuggets.
Yeah, Ty Simpson had some interesting quotes to my guy Eric Kane over at VolQuest about his recruitment, and their comments that are buzzing amongst Vol Nation on the message boards, and we've had a few questions about them on the text box this morning. Ty Simpson said about competition that I'm not scared of competition. I'll have to compete anywhere I go. That's how it works. But I don't think it's smart to go to a program with a loaded quarterback room of 6 or 7 guys. I know Coach T. Martin recruited Daniels and coached him at USC. They have a good relationship. When JG leaves, JT could be the guy, referring to JT Daniels. If that happens, great and good for them. But in that case, I'd need to do what is best for me and probably move on. Obviously, these comments were before JT Daniels committed to Georgia. But that quote there, if that happens, Tennessee landing JT Daniels, that's great and good for Tennessee. But in that case, I'd need to do what is best for me and probably move on, is kind of what's been buzzing around Vol Nation on the message boards, on Twitter, and on the text box this morning.
Yeah, I think it's time for Ty Simpson to go ahead and commit then.
Yep.
I mean, what we waiting on?
And in that same article, he did mention that he thinks that he is, I'm paraphrasing, but that he was close to a decision, being able to make a decision, or he was ready to make a decision, and kind of put 2 and 2 together.
Now, I got the quote right here. It says, I'm really high on Tennessee. I like the program, but there are other schools in play too. As far as making a commitment, I honestly think I'm about ready. I've discussed it with some schools, but I'll need to wait and discuss things further with my family. It's all about timing. Yo, what we waiting on? Because how I read this is I'm not coming if JT Daniels is there. JT Daniels is not there, so what's up?
Do you have a problem with him being that blunt?
Nope.
I don't either. And it's been taken as if he is scared of competition, but if we were to sit out and lay out all of the quarterbacks that would be in Tennessee's room next year, theoretically, obviously if Tennessee were to have landed JT Daniels, there would have been attrition at the position. But if we were living in an alternate universe and there was no attrition from the position, JG would be the only one that was gone from the room. And then at that point, you have JT Daniels, you have JT Shrout, you have Brian Maurer, you have Harrison Bailey, you have Caden Salter, you have Jimmy Holiday, you have Kasim Hill, and then Ty Simpson would be trying to come in. So there would already be 7 guys on the roster, whereas Ty Simpson would then be the 8th quarterback. That's a lot of guys, and a lot of guys in the way of being able to get on the field at essentially the only position that only one guy can be on the field at once.
Yeah, I just mentioned that Justin Fields was silly to go to Georgia. If Justin Fields decided not to go to Georgia because of Jake Fromm, he wouldn't have been running from competition. That would have been a smart business move. Mm-hmm. The writing was already on the wall. I knew what was going to happen before it happened. Before he even signed, I was like, "What? Why even go to Georgia? You're wasting a year. You're not going to win that job."
Yeah, the only way that you were going to get to play is if you had a Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts situation, and Tua didn't even really get to play until the very final game of the season in the second half of his true freshman season. So even Tua's freshman season was lost.
Yeah, it just wasn't a really, really good idea. And so at the quarterback position, you have to be strategic that way. You really have to. It's not running from competition. It's just being smart. I remember a quarterback in the 03 class, the class I was in, and Drew Tate had committed somewhere. And there was another quarterback that was going to go to, I think it was maybe like a Texas school, maybe Texas A&M, I don't know. But he wound up flipping his commitment to Iowa because he didn't want to enter a crowded quarterback room. You have to think that way. You really, really, really do. This is why quarterbacks commit early and they find their school and boom, that's it. You have to be that way as a quarterback. So no, I like exactly what Ty Simpson is saying. He has to be this way. It's his future. He needs to put himself in the best possible situation. You got to deal with these quarterback dads who are as worse, maybe even worse, than cheerleader moms. There's some dads that are worse than cheerleader moms. Some dads that have quarterbacks as sons, they're worse. And so these dads are trying to posture and position for their son to be the guy. And, Chris Leak's dad trying to get Coach Fulmer to promise him that he wouldn't recruit another quarterback in the 03 class for Chris's commitment. And Coach Fulmer wouldn't do it. That's why Tennessee did not get Chris Leak. And he went to Florida. So recruiting quarterbacks is just a different animal. We have to take a break here. We got Around the SEC coming up next. 865-255-03. Be right back.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill or call 865-693-5400. With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, TKL, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. TKL and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suits your needs. instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
All right, team, listen up. It's tailgating time again in Tennessee. But most importantly, team, you're going to need to refi that tailgate and the truck it's attached to with a refinanced auto loan with Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union with their Got That promotion. They'll give you up to $500 for your debt. Are you serious, Coach? That's right, Johnny. Alcoa 10 will pay you up to $500 for your debt. Now, let's get out there and spread the word. Say it with me. Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10.
ATFCU is an equal housing lender.
Good morning, Swain Event family. I had planned to tell you all about the current real estate market, how mortgage rates are still low, and on and on and on. But I thought that was boring, and if you want to know that stuff, you'll call me, right? In all seriousness, I trust everyone is healthy, happy, and ready for fall football. And if you need me, you can reach me at 865-257-7897 or Jennifer Morris, 865@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
Craving flavors that don't take hours in the kitchen? Mrs. Grissom's cheese spreads and chicken salads are the perfect go-to. Ready-to-eat meals and snacks found in the meat or dairy section at your local grocery store. Whether you crave the classic Mrs. Grissom's pimento cheese or the gluten-free select varieties like the cranberry pecan chicken salad, enjoy small-town flavor in every bite. Select the best. Select Mrs. Grissom's.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event. Around the SEC, powered by 42nd Street Marketing, your game-winning play call for design, marketing, and branding.
Around the SEC this morning, and let's take a look around the SEC. Ben, what you got for us today?
I wanted to, I hate to have to mention this, but wanted to mention some sad news that happened in SEC country, not necessarily SEC news, but earlier this week, UAB football signee Jamari Smith died in a drowning accident. He was a rising freshman, had just signed with the UAB Blazers and was set to be a freshman this fall, and he died in an apparent drowning incident on Wednesday. He was a member of a 2027 Alabama State Championship team at Robert E. Lee High School in Montgomery, Alabama. The tragic news was confirmed by AL.com's Carol Robinson, who reported that they identified Smith as the victim in an accidental drowning in a Lee County lake on Wednesday afternoon. Per the report, no foul play is suspected, and the case is being investigated by the Auburn police and the Lee County coroner. So just a really sad, unfortunate situation. He was a tremendous basketball player and a tremendous football player, and as I mentioned, he had signed a scholarship to play football at UAB, was going to be a freshman at UAB this fall, and just such a tragic situation. And don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but thought this was news that was worth sharing, and just wanted to kind of give Jamari Smith a couple of minutes to shed some light on him because he deserves it. So hate to be a Debbie Downer, but did want to share that. You shared this article on Twitter, or at least I saw you respond to Brandon Marcello, the new college football writer for 247 Sports. He previously covered Auburn for Auburn Undercover, and I saw where you had said to him, this is good info. So you know what, Swain? I bookmarked it, and I said I was going to bring it up on Around the SEC, and that article is headlined as "Can't Just Be Lip Service. Protocols Vary as Players Return." And it outlines exactly what the headline says, that the testing and all the process that schools are laying out right now for students returning to campus can't be lip service. It has to be more about action than just speaking. And nearly 3 months away from campus due to the pandemic will end for hundreds of student athletes in June, and with it arrives increased risks and a new normal consisting of testing, protective gear, social distancing, and numerous health and safety protocols. Individual conferences have developed guidelines, but individual schools are tasked with adjusting those plans to best fit their situation. They take recommendations from the Center for Disease Control, local and state health officials, and consult team doctors and staffers to develop their own internal plans. Phased approaches, welcoming players in waves over the period of 1 month, appear to be the norm across athletic departments, but testing protocols differ wildly. We want to crawl, then walk, and then run, said Matt Summers, Louisville's Senior Director of Sports Medicine for football. The issue is not sanitization or housing for student athletes. The issue is testing. Not all people infected by the coronavirus show symptoms, making them carriers capable of spreading the virus unknowingly to others. SEC schools, Arkansas, LSU, and Missouri will not require coronavirus testing when players begin returning to campus June 8th. Only those showing symptoms or returning from hotspots in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and New Orleans will be tested upon their arrival on Arkansas's campus. Interestingly, the Arkansas campus is located in the heart of the newest hotspot in the country for the coronavirus. The metro area in northwest Arkansas has the nation's highest average daily growth rate of 12%, according to a New York Times report on Tuesday. So it's pretty remarkable how all of these schools are returning at the same time, Swain, or around the same time, and each school has a different plan in place. So it'll be interesting to see how each plan is either successful or if it's truly acted upon and not just lip service to make sure student athletes can return to campus. And I'll add this real quick, Swain. John Bryce did tweet out last night that Tennessee is scheduled to have an all-coaches meeting this morning, and they're going to discuss kind of the protocol for coming back and just have a conversation on maybe what they should do because it has not been yet announced what Tennessee's protocol and guidelines and process is going to be, but the coaches are all meeting this morning to have that conversation moving forward.
In that article, Brandon Marcello mentioned that Tennessee declined to share their protocols, and I'll be honest, that kind of worried me a little bit because I don't know the reason why. It could be because Tennessee just doesn't want to share it because they're afraid of the backlash, or because Tennessee doesn't know right now. And if we don't know right now, that's not ideal. Let's just be honest. Let's take our sunglasses off here, look at it for what it is. To not have a plan, a complete plan, when we are, a couple days away from June 8th, that's not great. And I feel like you should be transparent with your plan, because at the end of the day, it is about the student athletes and their well-being. So I don't know the reason why we were not willing to share that plan, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I didn't feel somewhat a little worried about that. And hopefully this meeting that John Bryce talked about and reported on, it will help in that way. At the end of the day, I'm always going to be a player advocate, and the player's safety and their well-being is the most important thing here. And the leaders in charge must do what they feel like is necessary to protect these student athletes and make sure that they're in a good situation. So, I think about guys like Trey Smith and others on our football team. And I just, when the thing happened in Maryland, when a player passed away from a workout, it just broke my heart. It really broke my heart. So I just want the best for our student athletes, and I believe that it's time to come back. It's time to get to work. It's time to move forward. There's also necessary steps that need to be taken to be careful. You can do both. You can move forward, not live in fear, but also, be careful and take the necessary steps. I think we are doing that. We should do that. But I'll be honest, seeing everyone else's kind of their plan, and then the report that we just didn't want to share ours, I was like, well, I hope it's a good reason. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to choose to take the glass half full approach because you do raise great points. But I'm going to choose to believe that Tennessee has an idea of what it is going to do, and it's just shoring up those maybe last few little details before it releases it publicly.
No, that's what I hope, man. I hope so. But I'm gonna look at both sides of it, man. I hope it's that. I hope it's not because either we don't know or we just don't want to share. I think that's something that should be transparent, to be honest. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Let's get to Turkey Man. Turkey Man, good morning.
Good morning, individuals.
Good morning.
I hope I don't have to say what you've already said this morning, is that I said all this to say that. You've already used that. I'll try not to do that. But have either one of you guys ever watched how it played out with Peyton Manning as a quarterback at the University of Tennessee? Brandon Stewart was like a 5-star quarterback, and he came in at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one I was watching on YouTube here a while back, and I was kind of watching some things, how Peyton's history of him, I was watching different things you do on YouTube, but there was a game that Peyton struggled when he first come in. First was using him, and they installed Brandon Stewart, and Brandon Stewart just took them down for a field goal and moved the ball when they had been. And at the end of that game, they was asking players and different people, and they were, saying, well, do you think Brandon Stewart should have played on? And because they took him out, Peyton went back in, and Brandon Stewart never really had an opportunity that we've seen from the field. But he went on to Texas and didn't amount to nothing really. But I know that Chaney not at Georgia when the field situation happened of transferring?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sure that he's got some insight there. First, you get it, just thinking about that. But we don't really know how good of evaluators our coaches are yet at quarterback. We've seen other fields that they, other places that we see that they can evaluate real well.
Correct.
I'm hoping that Chaney will be able to make an evaluation of a quarterback that we have the right one, because you hit the nail on the head. You said it all the way through this thing this morning, that Bush Jones, if he had not had Dobbs, no telling what it'd been.
Yeah, Dobbs covered up a lot.
Oh, unbelievable what he actually, how talented he was. And you had said this, that we were going to miss Josh Dobbs, that he was going, you said that over and over again. But I feel like I don't know. I've heard you say I turned it off. I turned the game off. I couldn't watch it. Now, what I'm going to say here, and what I felt like would be hard for me ever again to do this. I've never turned a game off, a Tennessee game, as bad as it's been. I've stayed to the bitter end of it because I've seen things happening that I wanted to see. But all the talent we've got, if we don't have any better than what we've seen at the end of last year and all the way through the season, it ain't going to matter, because the quarterback is the component that makes the years run. And I say, you can go all the way. You done stated all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, you got
LSU. You talked about Clemson, and Clemson. If we had, kept Watson, the one before Watson, that was coming to Tennessee, and I think it was Kiffin that said that he didn't fit his system, and he went to Clemson, but actually brought Clemson where they started.
Yeah, he started everything. Taj Boyd started everything there at Clemson and laid the foundation for Deshaun Watson, and Lane Kiffin picked Tyler Bray over Taj Boyd, which I do understand that when you look at just prototypical quarterbacks and the projection, and you see big arms. You got this 6'5", 6'6", who can toss it. And you take your ability to develop quarterbacks, you see probably a larger upside in Tyler Bray than you see in a 6'2" quarterback in Taj Boyd. I get it. It just didn't work out. And so, for Jim Chaney, this will be his second season here at the University of Tennessee. We know how great he is at developing quarterbacks based on his history. But we just haven't seen it yet here in his second stint. He just hasn't had enough time. It's his second season. So that's going to come. That's going to come here with Harrison Bailey. It's going to come with Harrison Bailey. And it's going to come with Caden Salter. And then it's going to come, Caden Salter. It's going to come with him. And it's going to come with Jimmy Holiday. If Jimmy Holiday continues to play quarterback, we're going to see Jim Chaney in action and the development of quarterback, because that's what he's been paid to do. He's being paid $1.5 and between that and $1.7 million a year for Jeremy Pruitt not to worry about that stuff. Now, at the end of the day, he signs off on it. It wasn't like Jim Chaney made the decision at Georgia. I'm pretty sure Kirby Smart is not going to let the number one player in the state of Georgia, one of the best players in the country, leave the state. PR-wise, that probably not a good look. So that's probably why Kirby Smart did what he had to do to keep Justin Fields away from the competition and go to Georgia. He didn't have to play against him. Yeah, he ruined the opportunity to use him, but at least he didn't have to play against him. At least Justin Fields didn't go to Florida or Tennessee or someone like that. So I'm going to take a break. How about that, Ben? It sound like a good idea? Great. Glad you agree. 865-255-03. Hour 2 is coming up.
Touchdown or turnover is up next on the Swain event.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. The next thing you know, you're being arrested for DUI. Be responsible, but remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call DUI and criminal defense attorney Marcos Garza. Put this number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty, say Garza. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to OFOKnox.com. That's OFOKnox.com.
All right, team, listen up. It's tailgating time again in Tennessee. But most importantly, team, you're going to need to refi that tailgate and the truck it's attached to with a refinanced auto loan with Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union with their Got That promotion. They'll give you up to $500 for your debt.
Are you serious, Coach?
That's right, Johnny. Alcoa 10 will pay you up to $500 for your debt. Now, let's get out there and spread the word. Say it with me. Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10.
ATFCU is an equal housing lender.
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Homes, remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Attaboy.
Eight 865-255-03 is our telephone number here to the Swain event, and it is time for Attaboy to start off hour number 2 this morning. And I want to give an Attaboy to Swain event listener Fox Vol, and Fox Vol on Twitter. I woke up this morning, and sometimes I wake up and the first thing I grab is my phone. That was not one of those mornings this morning. But when I did grab my phone, I saw a few messages that I'll be honest, man, it made the allergies real tough in the room early this morning. And the reason why is because my man Foxball had shared his story with everyone, and he tweeted this at 12:22 a.m. I was asleep, so I did not see this until this morning. But I want to give him an attaboy today because I just want to share his story, his tweets, and the reason why I want to share his story is because what he is doing is going to help other people. And that's what it's all about. Because during this time and outside this time, dude, life is hard. Life is hard. Being a father, being a husband, it's not easy. There's pressure to be the man of the house. There's pressure to provide. There's pressure to protect. There's pressure. We put it on ourselves. Other people put it on us. I mean, it's not easy, and sometimes we want to give up. 12:22. Foxball tweeted, and I appreciate the compliment. This ain't about me. But I'll read the tweet. It says, if you ever wonder what type of person Swain and Vinny is, a few months ago I called into the show having decided to end my life soon. I was overwhelmed with everything and couldn't take it anymore. He heard it in my voice and tried desperately to get my contact information. That day he sent me a personal message that simply read, "I'm here if you need to talk, man." He kept everything I said private and responded like he was a dear friend. Here was this radio host who could have just acted like I was the weird guy calling in, but he didn't. How many people in his position do you think would have done that? Not many, especially for some random stranger who called into the show. I would never be this public about something so personal unless I truly felt like the person was a genuine human being. I'm alive today because he was obedient in that gut feeling. Thank you, man. I know the last thing you want is attention for something like this, and I know you didn't have to reach out, but I'm sure glad you did. My question to whoever is reading this is simple. Who do you know that needs a friend today? Who is God pulling at your heart to reach out to? I'm better now, and God has brought me into a right relationship with him through his son, Jesus Christ. It could have easily been a different story. If you never checked out his show, do yourself a favor. It's Monday, Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. You can download the app, and he's on the radio, AM, FM. Thank you. And if anyone is ever at the brink and you feel like giving up, I promise you this. There's a God who dearly loves you more than anything, and he's longing to hold you as his child. And if you need a listening ear, I'll be more than happy to pay it forward. God bless. And I remember that day, Ben.
I do too.
I remember when Foxball called in that day. And I was like, something's up there, man. And immediately after the show, we were like, we gotta find him.
Yep.
And I remember having a conversation with Jennifer Morris, and she was like, we gotta find him. We gotta find him. And here's part of the story that Foxball did not share. That just tells you how things just align sometimes perfectly. Foxball wasn't even on Twitter like a day before that. He had got off of Twitter. And so if Foxball had called the day before and I tried to use Twitter to find him, I wouldn't have found him. But he had just reactivated his account. And I remember I had to run to Best Buy to get some hardware for the show. I think it was like maybe a camera or something. I don't know what it was. And I remember I was trying to find Foxball. Social media. I remember Foxball had paid a visit to Knoxville for one of our signing day events. I remember our conversation. And I was just trying to find Foxball. And I found him. Like, I found him on Twitter. And that's when I reached out to him. And then we just had a whole long conversation through DMs that evening. And I was willing to drive up to Greenville and spend the day with him. My wife had already signed off on it. That was something that I was like, listen, I don't personally know this young man, but this is what I need to do. And she was like, I understand. So I was ready to take a day just to go up there and spend the day with Foxball there in Greenville. And, our friendship started then. And, we've talked ever since then. I'm glad he's doing better. He got himself a pellet smoker. So welcome to the family there, Foxball. We can trade recipes, but I want to put Foxball on Attaboy today, Josh, for sharing his story. Not because he speaks highly of the show and me. It ain't about me, but I give him an Attaboy because him sharing his story is going to help somebody else. That's why. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to say I need help. It's okay to say I need to talk to somebody. It's okay to reach out. It's okay. Because life ain't easy. Stuff is hard. But you can do it when you have someone right there beside you. And it's crazy. It doesn't have to be a family member. It could be a random person. It could be a random person. So Foxball is right. 100% right. And his message. And he asked the question, who do you know that needs a friend today? Who do you know? Who's pulling at your heart for you to reach out to? That's the Attaboy. That's the message for today. So thank you, Foxball, for sharing that, making yourself vulnerable, putting yourself out there, because you're going to help somebody else who's fighting the same battle that you're fighting the same battles that I'm pretty sure at some point we've all battled. Self-doubt. We've all battled. Asking ourselves is, man, are we adequate enough? Are we doing everything right? Am I making the person that I look up to, am I making them proud? I mean, these are all things that cause anxiety and make you question if you're doing the right thing, and you are. So thank you, Foxball. Let's get to the phones, and let's bring in Dave Toner. Dave Toner, good morning.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on, brother?
You got to give me a second, man. I gotta catch these emotions.
It's all right. I understand.
Man, what a blessing. What a blessing. The attaboy, that's the attaboy of the year. You know, and Jason and Ben, I'm not putting y'all on a pedestal, but I am going to recognize y'all because you did the same thing when all my business went down. You texted me several times. How you doing, brother? You all right? Need to talk? Call me. And, you know, as many times as we think that we're responsible for ourselves, we are called to carry our brother's burdens. We are called to give God glory, honor, and praise in all things we do and say. You and Ben may not realize just a couple of simple words how you bless other people. And we're called to do that. We're called to give glory in everything we do and say. This young man, I don't know him. I didn't know. I don't recall him calling in what that was about. I don't need to know. All I know is what he said and what you just repeated. Who needs a friend today? Who is God calling you to reach out to? Man, I'm telling you, I'm up here at the golf course running a vacuum cleaner, and these guys wonder why I'm crying.
Powerful stuff.
I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, man.
Talk to y'all later.
Appreciate Daytona. Thank you so much. Woo! 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Thank you, man. Thank you, Foxball, for sharing that with everybody. Really appreciate you sharing that story. Again, 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Give us a call. And Ken, thank you so much for your message regarding COVID. I really, really appreciate that. And you know, we just as we enter this new phase of returning, you know, these student athletes returning, man, I just hope everything works out, and you know, our players are good, our coaches are good, our staff members are good. I mean, these are certainly some uncertain times and a lot of unknowns out there. So thank you, Ken, for sharing that. I really appreciate that. Not going to read it on air, but thank you so much for sending that, man. It really means a lot. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Swain Event, Fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain Event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf. Then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
While the players are gearing up for the gridiron, it's time for you to get geared up at Alumni Hall. Find the best selection of Nike, Nike Golf, Peter Millar, and all of those retro logos you love. And the 2 for $28 t-shirt deal? Game changer. And don't forget about the rest of your game day crew. There are plenty of options for the entire family and to upgrade that tailgate. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Tennessee or 24/7 at alumnihall.com. It's football time in Tennessee. If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill or call 865-693-5400.
If you aren't following the Swain event on Twitter, then are you even on Twitter? Hit that follow button. It's the right thing to do.
(865-255-03) is our telephone number to the Swain event hotline this morning. Thank you for phone call, Dave Tona. Man. Hour 2 is brought to you by Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com. Ben, where's that mask, man? Where's your mask?
Over by my TV.
You got the checkerboard mask, right?
That's right.
Yeah, man. So I got my mask right here, man. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you
You're
hear
muffled.
Me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sound good.
I sound great?
Oh, yeah.
I got my mask on from Alumni Hall, baby. Checkerboard. Checkerboard, baby.
Looks good.
You just saying that?
Yeah.
Does this mask make me look fat, Ben?
Yes, it does.
Does the mask make me look fat? Lie to me, Ben. Tell me I look great in it. These masks are available at Alumni Hall. Got the Interlocking UT logo, got the Power T logo, got the Rifleman logo. You have checkerboard logo here, and VFL Terry Brown, NFL official, went over there and grabbed. I think he tried to take all of them. Terry, come on, man, say something for the rest of us. But he got a few of them yesterday at Alumni Hall. So this is available at Alumni Hall. So I tried to take the whole basket when I was there. I got something for the whole entire family. So you can do that as well at Alumni Hall. Let's get to the phones this morning. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Let's get to Josh. Josh, good morning.
Thanks for taking my call. I just had a quick question.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't sure on the date, but I heard that Oklahoma wasn't returning to campus a couple weeks later than the SEC. If that's true, that's actually huge. That Tennessee would have, a couple weeks, more to game plan for them. I don't know if you guys knew if that was true or not, but if so, that's huge. I just wanted to. I'll hang up and listen to you guys' comments on
Thanks
that.
so much, man. Yeah, OU is returning July the 1st, and Tennessee is returning June the 8th.
That's an advantage.
Slightly. Slightly if coaches are involved in the instruction. I think it's an advantage for sure. As far as X's and O's wise, I think as far as training and working out, I don't know if we sit here today and we're able to say that as far as strength and conditioning, it's going to make a huge difference in that showdown between Tennessee and Oklahoma early in the season. But when it comes to instruction, OU is breaking in a new starting quarterback. Tennessee has a returning player, Jared Garantano at quarterback, and then you have Harrison Bailey at quarterback. So, yeah, from an X's and O's standpoint, when it comes to instruction, that is an advantage. But as far as strength and conditioning, I don't know if, Oklahoma is going to be, out of shape and Tennessee is going to be just severely, better in that area. But to be able to be around your teammates, be around your coaches, things like that, how can it not be an advantage, Ben?
Yeah, and I don't know. It kind of feels like the stars are aligning for Tennessee in that football game, with Tennessee returning to campus earlier than Oklahoma. And it may not be a huge advantage, but it's at least an advantage, and I'll take it any way I can get it. And then you think of that. You think of the fact that Oklahoma is replacing Jalen Hurts. And, technically Lincoln Riley is calling it a quarterback competition between Spencer Rattler and Tanner Mordecai, a redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore. Rattler was the number 1 overall quarterback in the class of 2019, and he redshirted last year. So technically he's been in the system, and the Oklahoma offense won't be foreign to him when they return to campus. But it's still breaking in a new starting quarterback, like you just said, Swain, and they have to replace CeeDee Lamb, and on top of replacing CeeDee Lamb, the replacement, Jaden Hazelwood, tore his ACL. He won't be available for the game. And then on defense, you look at who they are replacing on defense, and Neville Gallimore, the nose guard, and Kenneth Murray, the linebacker, and Parnell Motley, the corner. That's going to be a tough challenge. Those are key players for Oklahoma last year at each level of the defense.
Yeah, Kenneth Murray was a first-round linebacker, and then
exactly a stud.
Yeah, he was a baller. So he went a couple picks after CeeDee Lamb in the first round, and then you mentioned Neville Gallimore, and he was a third-round pick.
Yep.
Defensive tackle. So, to lose 4 guys to the NFL draft in the first 3 rounds, that's significant. And then you're breaking in a new quarterback. So, yeah, man.
Yep. On top of not having a traditional spring practice, a traditional summer off season, summer workout program, and the point that I was leading up to, on top of Tennessee returning early, Oklahoma having to kind of reshape its team, break in new players, it's looking like there's not going to be a crowd at the game. If there is a crowd, 15 to 20%, all of a sudden that road trip isn't scary anymore if there aren't fans in the stadium. So the stars are kind of aligning for Tennessee. And, yes, there are questions at the quarterback position, but I think Barrett Solis said it perfectly yesterday. How much are you going to have to ask Jarrett to do in that football game if you have one of the best offensive lines in the SEC, you have a veteran running back room, should be able to run the football, and on top of that, Jeremy Pruitt's defense is going to be stout and not give up a ton of points. So Jarrett isn't going to be asked to do a lot. So as each day progresses, Swain, I don't know, maybe it's just me and I'm too optimistic this far out, but I become more and more confident in Tennessee's chances of potentially winning that football game each day that passes.
Yeah, I think there's a chance. I mean, obviously Oklahoma has been more cautious than some of the schools in the SEC for sure. I mean, the July 1st start, that's going to give Tennessee a slight advantage there, returning in June. And, you know, if they decide not to go over 25% seating capacity, that could benefit Tennessee. But, you know, a guy like Jerry Gantana who plays better on the road, man, the opposing fans may help you. I know that did for Casey Clausen. So those opposing fans booing you, man, gives you that energy, man, gives you that power sometimes. So I don't know how that's going to affect Oklahoma, how that's going to affect Tennessee. I'm pretty sure that it's helpful for a Tennessee offense when Oklahoma has some momentum, which there will be times when Oklahoma has the momentum and Tennessee's on offense trying to communicate and you can't hear. You possibly won't have that issue if the crowd's not too loud, unless they are allowed to pipe in some crowd noise or whatever. But
even that won't be the same.
No, it won't. It won't.
And
be the
I mean,
same.
that'll just be another practice. I mean, they do that in practice to begin with.
Correct. So my stand still is the same. You know, I felt like in Pruitt's third year, and we were rebuilding. There was just no point in scheduling a game like Oklahoma because you just never know. More times than not, you're going to catch that team that is further along in their development. They have a stable football program. You know, why would you schedule Oregon in Butch Jones' first year? You know, I felt that way when looking at this game in Pruitt's third season. But hey, man, things are coming together. Just like when we saw Mississippi State on the schedule, we were like, they're gonna have a lot of talent. I don't know about that game. And guess what? Things start falling apart inside that locker room, and it worked out for Tennessee. Same thing with Auburn, man. Looking at the game earlier in the season, watching Auburn play earlier in the season, we were like, I don't know. But guess what? Things start falling apart in the locker room, and it benefited Tennessee. So because of certain conditions, you know, Oklahoma losing some players, you know, unfortunately a player got hurt, a player that was supposed to step in and be, you know, the guy, and C.D. Lamb leaving for the NFL. I mean, it's some things have kind of helped Tennessee in that way. So, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the game for sure. It'd be huge for Pruitt, you know, that 4-game, you know, cluster that we're looking at that's important for Pruitt this season. It's always Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, but that fourth game includes Oklahoma. And if you can go ahead and get that one off your back early in the season, that takes a lot of pressure off of you, and it gives your team confidence to know, like, we can win these games. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we beat Kentucky, we beat Missouri, we've beaten South Carolina, and you had a stretch. You beat Indiana and Vanderbilt, and that's good. But it's different when you beat Oklahoma, because now you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, we can do it, guys, because we have found ways to lose in the last couple of years. The good teams find ways to win. Have you ever noticed watching Clemson play? They always get like this close to losing, and they just find a way to win.
Yep.
It wasn't always like that with Dabo. There was a phrase that was created because they found ways to lose. It was called Clemsoning. But something happened. I don't know if it was the LSU win in the bowl game they had in Chick-fil-A Bowl, but it was a game. And they found a way to win. And I remember for Tennessee when Josh Dobbs was here, it was that 2014 South Carolina game when they were down a ton of points and they came back to beat South Carolina on the road. That was a turning point for those group of players. They found a way to win. And then it gave them confidence to go and compete against, you know, other teams. And then in 15, we were not intimidated. You know, we carried the fight to a lot of teams. Now we lost games we shouldn't have lost, but our players were not scared. You know, they carried the fight to Oklahoma. They carried the fight to Florida. It was more of coaching malpractice that we didn't win those games. But I think the 14 South Carolina game was a very important turning point because it taught our guys how to win. And that might be the game for Oklahoma. For Tennessee, the Oklahoma game. You win that one, I don't care if it's about half a point. You're going to feel confident about playing Florida, about playing Georgia, and about playing Alabama and beating those teams moving forward.
Heck, barely beating, almost beating Oklahoma in 2015, I think that gave Tennessee confidence to go down to the Swamp. True. Even though Tennessee loses that game to Oklahoma in the way that it did, Tennessee dominated that football game for 3 quarters and then just could not stop Baker Mayfield from picking up a first down with his legs in the fourth quarter on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Absolutely drove me crazy. And then in overtime just completely fell apart. But I think those 3 quarters in which it was beating down Oklahoma, dominating Oklahoma, I think that gave confidence even in a loss, because afterwards they were able to look back and say, hey, clearly we can play with these guys. Clearly we are a good football team.
They beat themselves, yeah.
Exactly.
They beat themselves.
And then they go down to Florida and beat themselves.
Correct.
And then they finally get it figured out against Georgia, and that carries them all the way throughout the remainder of the season, capping it off with a Outback Bowl win over Northwestern. So I completely agree with you.
Yeah, man. Let's get back to the phones this morning. Let's bring in our guy, Tramel. Tramel, good morning, sir.
Yo, what it do, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
It be what it be.
It is what it is.
It ain't what it ain't.
So, I feel like we're going to win that game, too. Do we care about the asterisk that's going to be by that win?
What? Nope. It's not going to be an asterisk by that win.
If there's no fans in the stadium, people will put an asterisk next to it.
They can do it if they want to. They're wasting their time. They ain't going to look
I'm not going to care.
They're going to look silly.
I ain't going to care either. I was just asking, you know what I'm saying? Do we care about it? Because I don't care. W to W.
Do we put that by the Ole Miss Tennessee game 2014?
No.
Just because Ole Miss had to forfeit all those wins because they got caught cheating? I don't. We still lost that game. The game happened.
You know what? I don't put it on the board then when they won that championship in that closeout season when it was a short season and they won. You feel me?
Who's that?
When Miami won, when they had that short season.
Oh, the NBA lockout?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen, if the Lakers going to win the thing this year, I'm not putting a star next to it. They won. The game is
y'all
played.
may not, but there will be people that do.
Care. And
it will be. It will be. That's why I'm saying it will be people that do it.
Blocked and reported. They'll get blocked and reported. Blocked, reported. Get 'em.
It be what it be.
Okay, out of the Big Four, from what it sounds like, y'all seem like we're going to win this game. So I guess y'all kind of really answered this question. So I was going to ask out of the Big Four that we play this year, who y'all think we have the best chance of beating. But it seems like, you know what I'm saying, from what it sounds like, y'all believe we're going to beat Oklahoma. But I feel like we could beat 2 out of the 4.
No, I think we can too. I just like the early game because, I know like people I've seen where like a national media member picked Tennessee to upset Alabama this year, and I just, you giving Alabama time to fix things before the third Saturday in October, like I don't feel as confident about that as I would an earlier game.
I was upset when they see me. I was like, dang, let us chill. Talking about us? Dang.
Yeah, I just feel more comfortable in the early games.
Yeah, that's why I said Georgia got lucky, boy. But they got I don't know what y'all said about JT because I woke up kind of late today, but that's a pretty good move right there.
No, it's a great move for Kirby. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great move, man. But I don't care. Like I said, I want them at full strength.
What color Ford Raptor do you think he got, Tramel? You think he got what color Ford Raptor? What color 2020 Ford Raptor do you think JT Daniels got? You think he got the matte black or the shiny red or the Georgia silver?
We can't do that, man.
Shh.
Because people gonna flip it on us and say all the kids that signed it with us. How many?
Yeah.
Do that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know what y'all talking about. But yeah, Tramel, there's something going on with the sound quality. We're going to let you go, but thanks for the phone call, my friend. Hope you have a good weekend. Out of the Big Four, if I had to pick which game I feel more confident about, I would say Oklahoma right now, just because it's early and Oklahoma's breaking a new quarterback. They have a July 1st start. They got basically 4 weeks until fall camp. I kind of feel good about that one, even though it's an away game.
Yeah, the two I feel the most confident in Tennessee being able to win is in terms of teams on paper as of May, not taking into consideration when Tennessee plays them, but if like the game was played today, the two teams that I feel the most confident in Tennessee beating out of those four is Oklahoma and Georgia. Now, I think that opinion is going to change once the season rolls around because Georgia has plenty of talent on offense. It's just it hasn't had time to play football together. I mean, they're a bunch of inexperienced players who are going to need time to gel together. And I really hate that this is the first season in which Tennessee starts playing Georgia in November. I really wish we could make a deal with the SEC to play them at the end of September just one more time. If Tennessee was playing Georgia that last weekend in September, that first weekend in October, when it typically falls, I mean, I truly think Tennessee would have a good chance of winning because that offense is going to be breaking in a new starting quarterback, a new offensive line, new receivers outside of George Pickens. They have talent at the running back position, but it's a bunch of inexperienced talent. I mean, that's a game that Tennessee could win because Tennessee is more established now. Georgia's defense might be one of the three best in the entire country. They may not give up more than 30 points all of this season. But I really wish we could flip like Florida and Georgia this year and play Georgia earlier in the season like we typically do. But I like Tennessee's chances of beating Oklahoma. I think I've made that pretty clear over the last segment or two.
I hope, man. I hope. 865-255-03. Rod Lowe, the text box. Hush. We would not be reading that. Justin, what is your feeling on Cade Mays being eligible? I feel pretty good about Cade Mays just simply because of the representation that he has in Tom Mars. Tom Mars is going to take on Cade Mays' case, and he's going to retire from basically representing student athletes against the NCAA. So, and I feel good about Cade Mays' case. Not saying I know anything. I'm not trying to throw any hints out there. It's a gut feeling. I feel good about it. But that NCAA rule may have helped Tennessee, may not have helped Tennessee because, you look at JT Daniels going to Georgia. If players were immediately eligible this year, would he have went to Georgia? I don't think so. Because the most overhyped player in this offseason has been Jamie Newman, the transfer quarterback from Wake Forest. And he's supposed to be the guy this year as a grad transfer. He only has 1 year to play. So that would have been a mess for Kirby. That would have been a huge mess for Kirby. So I think that's the reason why JT Daniels went to Georgia, because he knew that he would not play this year. It would be Jamie Newman's show this year, and then he would have a year to kind of get acclimated and learn the system and then be able to compete for the job next year against Vandergriff and whoever. So
honestly, if I'm JT Daniels, I'd rather battle Jamie Newman than Brock Vandagriff.
No, I would rather battle Vandergriff than Jamie Newman.
Oh, I think JT Daniels is better than Jamie Newman.
Physically, maybe have better tools, but Jamie Newman has experience and
so does JT Daniels.
Yeah, but you said that you would rather battle Newman instead of Vandergriff.
Mm-hmm.
Vandergriff has not played a down yet. He hasn't practiced one down yet in college. So you don't know how he's going to react. You don't know if
that's true.
He's good in high school because of the competition. You don't know if it's going to translate to college. What we do know about Jamie Newman is that he has made plays in college before. Like, he's done it already. There's just a huge unknown with Brock Vandagriff is all I'm saying. So I would rather go up against a guy that has not taken a snap in college versus a guy who has experience already beating ACC teams. You know what? And your point is real rich coming from someone who tried to sell me on your boy from Maryland.
Kasim Hill.
That's real rich, Ben.
Well, no. You said Kasim Hill has not done anything yet, and I was just saying that. Well, he actually has done something, which you could arguably say he's done more than JG. That was my only point.
Yeah, I know. Just saying.
Well, my thinking on Brock Vandagriff when I said that is like, yes, I absolutely agree. He hasn't done anything yet. I mean, he still has to play senior year of high school football, but in today's day and age of five-star quarterbacks, it feels like every single one that comes to college football is just ready to play from day one. So if Brock Vandagriff is a Justin Fields or a Trevor Lawrence, a Tua Tagovailoa, and he's ready to play at a high level immediately, at that point I would have rather have gone up against Jamie Newman in a quarterback competition than a five-star freshman that is ready to light the world on fire.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Not all five-star quarterbacks are able to do that. I got a list, Ben. 2003 pro-style quarterback list. I want you to bear with me because I'm going to read this list. And I want you to be able to tell me these quarterbacks that actually did something at the next level, the next level after that. The number one rated quarterback, according to Rivals in 2003, was Kyle Wright. He was a five-star. He went to Miami.
I know a Kyle Wright.
Number 2, Chris Leak. Number 3, Tommy Grady, Oklahoma. Clayton Richard, played baseball, Michigan. Kevin McCabe, Virginia, number 5. Number 6, Jamarcus Russell, LSU. Number 7, Andre Woodson, Kentucky. Justin Midget, Florida. I don't know. Sam Keller, Arizona State. Brady Quinn, number 10, Notre Dame. Blake Mitchell, number 11, South Carolina. Number 12, T.C. Olstander, and I don't know. He went to Stanford.
Is he related to T.C. in Athens?
No. Michael Affleck, number 13, went to Arizona State. Drew Tate, 14, Iowa. Richard Kolovacek went to Arizona. I remember him because he was a U.S. Army All-American quarterback. Matt Flynn, LSU, number 16. Johnny Dorocher went to Oregon. He's number 17. Stephen Moffitt went to Central Florida. He's 18. Todd Bokenman went to Ohio State. He's at 19. Ryan Gunderson, 20, Oregon State. Kerry Dove went to California. What? Huh? Brian White, Colorado, 22. Corey Holt, 23, Virginia Tech. Philip Daughtery, 24, Texas Tech. Number 25, Ben. Matt Ryan, Boston College. 26, Ryan Mitch went to Maryland. By the way, some of these guys don't even have a picture.
What'd you call me?
What did I say?
Ryan Mitch.
Yeah, Ryan Mitch. You know what I called you. Ricky Joe Meeks went to SMU.
Ricky Joe Meeks?
Went to SMU. He's from Texas, man. Perfect Texas quarterback name. Adam Barman went to Kansas. He's a 28th ranked quarterback in this class. Roger Hines, kind of like Hines Ketchup, went to North Carolina. Scott Carroll, 30. He went to Purdue. Landon Leach went to Arkansas, 31. Chris Heavener, that's it. Went to Arizona. He's from Texas. 33, Jeremy Young, Southern Miss. 34, no pitcher. Leon Jackson III. He went to Utah State.
Shout out to Leon.
Stephen Reeves, no pitcher. Went to Michigan State, 35. 36, Jeff Klein. The 36 rated quarterback, it says undecided. So he didn't get to school, I guess. Dave Shinsky went to Delaware. Number 38. The quarterback went to North Carolina. The first name is Nick. 39. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, Pittsburgh. 40, Zach Champion went to Louisiana Tech from Bessemer, Alabama. 41, Blake Powers, Indiana. Yo, have you even heard of these dudes?
Nope.
There's only 2 guys that I can identify here, 3, that went to the league. Now, Drew Tate was a dang good quarterback at Iowa. He was your 3-4 year starter at Iowa, your franchise quarterback. He was shorter, so prototypically he wasn't going to play in the NFL. He's only 6 foot. At that time, you're not playing. But Matt Flynn played for the Packers, got a big deal with the Seahawks. Didn't work out, but still he was in the league balling for a little bit. Brady Quinn was the first-round pick with the Browns, but he didn't do anything there. Jamarcus Russell was the first overall pick, excuse me. But Joe Flacco and Matt Ryan are the 2 quarterbacks in this class that we can point to. Matt Ryan, 25th rated quarterback in the 2003 class. And then Joe Flacco, 39th. So we don't know what quarterbacks are going to do what, Ben, to be honest, man. We don't know. Dude, the 03 quarterback class was a freaking bust.
It sounded like you were reading off a bunch of names from Coach Doug's team.
Yeah, because there's a lot of these dudes I've never heard of before.
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
Ever.
Like some of these dudes I remember playing in the U.S. Army All-American game with, but some of these dudes, no. Like I remember Blake Mitchell, South Carolina, but Andre Woodson, I mean, he went on to be I think a second-round pick for the New York Giants, was a backup to Eli Manning, but these guys who are top 5 rated didn't do it. 865-255-03, excuse me, is our number to the Swain Event Hotline.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Dude, I almost lost my voice yesterday, man. I was talking so much. I had so many meetings. I did about 3 interviews yesterday. So my voice is a little weak this morning.
Hollywood.
Nah, man. A lot of talking yesterday. A lot of correcting. Get off the couch. Don't jump off the couch that way. Get out. Get in here. Get out of here. Can't go outside. It's raining.
Now get.
Yeah, man. Let me clear my throat this morning.
Let me clear my throat.
865-255-03. Swain Event. Be right back.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
At Hiller, we care about your family's comfort all year long. If you get caught without air conditioning this summer, we're offering a free service call with any repair. That's a free service call when we do the work on your HVAC system. Visit happyhiller.com to schedule your appointment today.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. And guess what's hotter than Tennessee recruiting? That's right, the local real estate market. Things are still moving and shaking, so when you're ready to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, give me a call. Jennifer Morris at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
Do you want a custom themed tumbler or bottle to show off your team spirit every day of the week? Well, look no further than Game Time Sidekicks. Every design has you, the fan, in mind. Their tumblers and bottles are double-walled, vacuum-insulated stainless steel, and their quality is second to none in the market. From stainless steel sippy cups to tumblers and sports bottles, Game Time Sidekicks offers something for the fan of all ages to rep their team with. They have many different logo options, so fans will have something they are proud to carry around all the time. Use promo code SWAIN at checkout to get 20% off of your entire purchase at GameTimeSidekicks.com. They also offer $5 flat rate shipping. Be sure to check out the Game Time Workshop on the website and customize your tumbler to make it one of a kind with things like your nickname, number, or initials. Game Time Sidekicks. Show your colors and carry your team.
There are articles
and news stories that you read about the things that people do. And when you're reading those and you start to shake your head, you start to scratch your head a little bit, you get confused, you don't understand why, you start to ask questions. But really, there's only one question that matters. What is that question, you may ask?
For what?
All right, Ben Jammin is what Big Orange Mac calls you. It is time for what? And Ben, I got mine locked and loaded here. What do you have for what today?
I don't believe I had one. I thought I had one booked marked. I had an attaboy. Yes, this was my for what. I am giving Dan Orlovsky a for what for calling Damian Lillard spoiled and an entitled brat for saying that he would sit out. Damian Lillard made headlines this week when he told Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports that he'd sit out when the NBA resumes play if the Trailblazers didn't have a path to the playoffs and a shot at the championship. Quote, if we come back and they're just like, we're adding a few games to finish the regular season and they're throwing us out there for meaningless games and we don't have a true opportunity to get into the playoffs, I'm going to be with my team because I'm a part of the team, but I'm not going to be participating. I'm telling you that right now, and you can put that expletive in there. The NBA is currently exploring scenarios in which play would resume in Orlando, Florida at Disney World, but many games and who will be playing them still remains to be seen. Since Lillard's comments, NBA players and pundits have weighed in on Lillard's comments, and for the latter has inspired some really bad hot takes. On Wednesday, Dan Orlovsky, a former quarterback and analyst on ESPN's Get Up, went in on Lillard for those comments. Here's what he had to say. If what we've experienced over the past 3 months has taught us anything, there's no such thing as meaningless anymore. We can't take things for granted, and there's a difference between have to and get to. And Damian Lillard would have the opportunity to get to play basketball again. Because there's people out there who have to go do things, frontline workers and nurses and doctors. They have to go to work and they have to work more hours and pay less because of what we're dealing with. Damian Lillard would have the opportunity to get to play basketball, and I would hope and challenge him in his mindset that the last few months has changed that and that he'd take that opportunity to go and perform, to go and compete, and get the opportunity to play basketball again. Some people don't have a choice anymore. They have to go do things. It's not an option. That was his not so mean take on Damian Lillard, but he then went on to say that how can you sit there and go, nope, I'm not going to play, but understand that there's people out there that don't have that choice. They have to go to work. They have to go earn their money. I struggle with sitting here and going, you don't come off in some way a spoiled and entitled brat by saying I'm not going to play. Dan Orlovsky is right in the sense of NBA players returning and playing basketball as a job isn't as important as the healthcare workers. I mean, that goes without being said. He's right in that sense. But to call Damian Lillard entitled brat and spoiled because Damian Lillard doesn't want to put himself at risk over meaningless basketball games is a really poor choice of words, in my opinion. So for that, I am giving Dan Orlovsky a for what.
Yeah, Dame does not want to be just thrown out there when the NBA is only thinking about the playoffs. I mean, they're trying to preserve the playoffs. This is the last stretch of the season before the playoffs. So you have teams like your Memphis Grizzlies that are in a good position to be the 8th seed, but you have Portland, who is, I want to say 9th, 10th, a couple games outside of 8th. They want those teams, they want an opportunity to be able to earn their way into the playoffs. And then you have some teams that don't really care because they've already kind of cemented their place in the lottery. Maybe those teams are okay with not playing at all because that guarantees them that they're going to have a good place in the lottery. So what Dane was saying is, I don't want to go back out there if all you're doing is setting it up for the playoff teams. That's what he's saying because he's a competitor. And so I understand exactly what he's saying. And I think sometimes we get caught up in the money. He has a job. He has a job like a lot of people have a job. But we look at these athletes differently because of the money. The money. There are professionals all across the country that have been told to come back to work, and they may be a little uncomfortable with that because of maybe some protocols that are still a little bit, sketchy, still a little bit hairy. And so he's no different. I think we look at him because, he's just an athlete. He makes a lot of money. And we look at these athletes as, they need to entertain us. Like, they need to be willing to do this to entertain us during this time. And I just don't look at it that way because they're humans too. They're not heroes. The healthcare workers are heroes. They're your real superheroes. So we don't need to look at the athletes as someone that needs to be a hero to keep us, entertained during this time. They have concerns too. And so he's earned the right to say what he said. He did clarify those comments by saying, I don't want to be set up to play games, only to not have a chance to make the playoffs. So Dan, when tweeting that, Dame came at his neck and said, woo, and said, entitled and spoiled, MF, watch your mouth. And Dan,
bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
Dan put it in reverse real quick, and apologized and said that was he shouldn't have said that. And Dan got drugged from uptown to downtown by Twitter. A lot of videos of his days as a Detroit Lion, being a quarterback, taking a snap at his own 2-yard line and simply running out of bounds, not knowing when he was out of bounds and getting a safety. So Detroit Lion. But I like Dan Orlovsky. I think he does a great job in calling games. I really do like him. But Dan was out of line, and we all have those moments where you get set straight, you mess up, and then you own it. Dan gets the attaboy for owning it. He'll learn from this moment and move forward. If anything, Dame Lillard is not entitled because he literally came from the mud to be where he is. He went to Weber.
And gives back.
Yeah, he went to Weber State. Was a low pick in a draft. Like, he has clawed and scratched to be where he is today. So, no, he ain't spoiled entitled. I wouldn't say that. We got Hour 3 coming up. Hour 2 was brought to you by Alumni Hall, alumnihall.com. Tennessee-themed masks available there at Alumni Hall. Turkey Creek, Paper Mill Drive. Go by there and get yourself taken care of with the new face mask there at Alumni Hall. Checkerboard, interlocking tee, rifleman, power tee, all those awesome Tennessee logos you love there at Alumni Hall. Hour 3 coming up. With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, T. Kell, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. T. Kell and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suits your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones. They can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
For what is coming up on the Swain event.
All right, team, listen up. It's tailgating time again in Tennessee. But most importantly, team, you're going to need to refi that tailgate and the truck it's attached to with a refinanced auto loan with Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union with their Got That promotion. They'll give you up to $500 for your debt. Are you serious, Coach? That's right, Johnny. Alcoa 10 will pay you up to $500 for your debt. Now, let's get out there and spread the word. Say it with me. Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10, Alcoa 10.
ATFCU is an equal housing lender.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience. That's why the owner of iDrop, TKL, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. TKL and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suit your needs. Instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for it. Shop now at one of their 6 convenient locations in Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. 865-255-03 is our telephone number, and we are hoping that you're having a great Friday this morning here on the program. Again, 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Ben McKee, Jason Swain, and we'll go to the phones